Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single episode of Pour Your Heart Out, Black Women's Honest Conversations. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. It's time to grab a glass of your favorite wine, get comfortable, and get ready to pour your heart out. Hello, beautiful people. It's your girl, Nini, and I'm back with another episode of Pour Your Heart Out, Black Women's Honest Conversations. Before we get started, I want to give you an opportunity to go ahead and like this video, subscribe, and then share it out with some of your friends, especially your homegirls, all right? We have a really good episode in store for you ladies tonight, and I brought back some of our heavy hitters. You know, I have an amazing panel of beautiful, accomplished Black women where we just talk about different things that affect us in the African American community. All righty. So tonight we are going to be talking about a very interesting topic. And the title of tonight's show is Girl, She Just Don't Like You. We're going to be talking about some of the challenges that face us African American women in our female relationships, from envy to jealousy, misunderstandings, and some of those funny acting ways that we may have about ourselves or that our friends have. We're going to be talking about that tonight. So before we dive on inside of our episode for tonight, I am going to bring in some of our panelists. So I'm going to go ahead and bump them up on the stage, and we are going to get this party started. Let's go. Hey, ladies. Hey.
Hello.
All right now. What's up?
Hey. Hello.
How is everybody doing tonight?
Oh, it's Friday. Praise God.
I know. I'm so
Friday. I'm ready. I'm ready for the weekend. It's a long weekend. Let's go. Let's go.
I am super excited about this long weekend. Like, I'm ready for the school year to be over with, but since it's not, I'm going to take advantage of this 3-day weekend. All right.
Where's the cookout? Because I'm not doing any cooking. That's nowhere to go.
Okay. This is what we should do. Whoever finds the cookout, y'all go ahead and forward it to the rest of us. Therefore, no woman is left out. You understand what I'm saying? That way we all eat. You see what I'm you
like that. I like that.
Tell us what to bring. We just got to bring something.
True, very true. I'm
still trying to figure out if we're going to be hosting our annual Juneteenth celebration, because it's Monday now. And I don't know if y'all going to actually come.
Yes, I will. I will be there.
We're
sure will.
So I'll keep y'all posted. I'll keep you posted. All righty. So I'm looking over in the chat. I see Tequila is there. Hey, Tequila. I'm still waiting for you to join us up here on the stage one day, ma'am. Mike is in the chat. He's saying that Dr. Mia is awesome sauce. All right. Tequila has her wine glass. All right. Let us cheers to you, Tequila. All right. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. Go ahead and pop up some of these from some of our favorites in the chat. Yes, man, we're trying to see if we're going to do it this year. It's been on a Saturday and Sunday the last couple of years, and now it's on a Monday. And I have to remember everybody's not a teacher, so everybody's not off. So, when we do it, we have like 50 plus people in the backyard. So when he gets on the grill, I don't want to have all that meat and only have 4 people here with us. So we'll see. All righty, let's go ahead and dive into tonight's episode. We are talking about, and I love the title. Dr. Mia played a part in this title because she was like, girl, you're being too safe. We need us a good title that's going to grab attention. So we came up with the girl, she just don't like you. And I'm like, that's it. That's perfect. And sometimes we just have to accept the fact that our friend may not really like us. All right, so before we jump in, let's talk about, because initially when I heard that, I'm thinking about jealousy and envy in relationships. All righty. So I want to know, what do you all think about that? The initial reason why for us even coming up with this topic of she just don't like you. And I think it was Breezy. Was it you actually brought the topic to us? Before we dive deep into it, let us know, what were you thinking, or what went on to make you feel like that is something that you wanted us to tackle on our show?
So my dog is in here showing out, but it's just because I have dealt with it. Right, she want to be on the show too. You know how Bella gets.
That's right. That's right.
I have dealt with it firsthand, and sadly enough, in my big age of 43, it has been fairly recent to have to deal with somebody that is or was a friend and having to accept that that person just really did not like me.
Wow. How long had you been friends with this person?
Since we were in daycare.
Oh, wow. Y'all grew up together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that probably played a part in it because, sometimes as you grow, you can grow in different directions.
Yes.
And not really realizing it because you're growing and you're communicating, y'all talking like y'all friends, and whole time there's people that'll come back and say, I thought you and such was cool. Me too. Why? What happened?
Hey, that question right there is a red flag. I thought y'all were cool.
Right.
But once you say, yeah, me too, they back off like, oh no, nothing, like, because they don't want to stir the waters, they don't want to be the ones to spill the beans, so to speak, but not realizing that it had been years of hearing things, but feeling like you don't want to just take what someone is saying as truth when it's never been said to you or shown to you. So, yeah.
Have you ever had that conversation with a friend or anything to get clarification?
I did. Hold on, I'm gonna put my dog out because that's what it's for.
I was giving you all the love tonight, girl.
I see that. Maybe I'll do makeup, a little bit more often. Jeez, I appreciate it, y'all. I'll sip to that.
Yes,
but yes, we did end up having the conversation, but I guess conversation isn't really a fair term because it was really me doing all the talking. Just really a notification of, listen, this is why you're not going to hear from me anymore. This is why you're being deleted off my social media. And I would appreciate it if you would stop telling other people your feelings about me since you've never come to me with it. And that was it. That was all.
So you were like grown in that situation.
I was like 40.
Oh.
Bridget said, we ain't got time for this.
Right.
None. Zero time. Zero of the times. Zero.
Wow.
Not 1 minute.
But that's sad that you had been friends for so long, and
it wasn't that sad. It was okay. It was because it was one of those friendships where it was,
that. She was like, I wasn't that sad.
No, because once you hear so many times that things are being said and you write it off as, oh, I just know how she is and I know she's a miserable person because she doesn't value herself, and just different reasons why. I get why you wouldn't like me. I love me. I get why you would be mad. I get it. But yeah, it was just one of those things. Like, there are certain friendships that I no longer have that I do miss. But that one, no. It was for the best. Absolutely.
And it was
and
good
that's
that you got
okay.
that. It was good that you got that clarification, though. Like,
Yeah, because I had never done that before. When people would say such and such said this and that, it'd just be like, it's okay. I understand. It's fine. But when it came to the point where it was like, oh, such and such said she worried about you, or such and such said this, is like, come on, sis. Enough is enough.
I love that. I love it. Just tackle it head on. Like Tequila said, she said very, very adult of you.
Got to.
Yes.
Got to.
Yeah. Because I remember it's a couple of incidents that I remember of where it was like clear that somebody didn't like me. And that was very hard for me because I pride myself on relationships, right? I'm a relationship. So I remember my sister telling me, I think I was like 10 years old, and she said, everybody's not going to like you. I was like, what do you mean? This is 10. Because my sister already kind of saw like my mannerism and how super friendly I was, and always just, just really friendly, because she was very standoffish. She was like, She was just kind of like trying to guide me. So I didn't understand that at 10. It wasn't until I went to the military, I think I was like 22, and I was, we all live in the barracks, and it's like one loger, it's like boys on one side, girls on one side. And, it's just a community. And there was this girl named, I think her name was Tamika McClendon. No, I don't know. I know her last name was McClendon because, in the military, you call people by their last names. She was from South Carolina. Because anytime a new person would come, I would just like try to bring them into the fold. It's like, really weird leaving your family. Now you're in Bucktown, New York, like Watertown, New York, Amish City, snow up to your waist. Like, it was hard. It was a very hard adjustment. So I was like the barrack mom, right? So when I tell you this heifer, it don't matter what I said, how I approached her, girl, her face was stoic. I mean, just not a grin, nothing. And finally, my then friend, who became my best friend, she said, and she was like, she said she just don't like you. And I was like, but I've never done anything to her. Why wouldn't she like me? And that blew my mind. I could not understand that. But, some people just not your people. And I had to say, like, realize that, my spirit and your spirit don't match. And it's okay. But it hurt at first. Okay. I just really didn't understand that. I don't understand how you don't like somebody you don't know. I can understand if you know me and I've done something to you, but just being nasty and that's just your natural way of being. I'm like, damn, that's Cain's kids. Cain and Abel. Which one was the best?
Oh yeah.
Cain, right?
Abel. Yeah, Cain killed Abel.
Okay.
What she said.
Like, people are just nasty for no reason, and they just, I'm like, because I think are we all Cain's kids? Because Abel was dead, he had a chance to reproduce. Oh, well, it's another conversation.
Shout out to Vacation Bible School.
Don't make sure to jump up and educate us on that. Mia, you have a question. Someone wants to know, are you taking any more patients?
I am. You can go to my website, www.anewwave.com. And
let me put it up there.
There it is. There it is.
Their producers, what else?
We legit over here, okay? All right, Nicole is having some issues. Got to get her back up in here. Shaka, what is your experience with the girl that just didn't like you? I
Where
think
where
I
would you
know
like
at
me
least
to
one.
start? Oh, you know. Oh, you know. Oh, ma'am, you know. So I'm gonna start with the most detrimental of them all. So I thought in my 20s. However, here I
Mhm.
am in my fabulous 40s, and you know what? I appreciate that heifer for not liking me. I appreciate that heifer for stabbing me in my back because she made me this awesome, amazing, all the things that I am today is because of this relationship. Now, I met said person back in middle school. And we was cool. And that was my dog. That was my friend. That was my ace boon cool. That was my ride or die. Right? Could nobody say nothing bad about her? Not to me.
Mhm.
Okay, because that was my people's. Her family was my family. My family was her family. Like you see her, you see me. You see me, you see her. You understand? Like all these
Mhm.
little TikToks and all these little things. Like that's who
That
we
would have
were.
been y'all.
I mean, for
Mhm.
real, you at me as her friend, you couldn't say nothing bad about her. If I heard that you said something or it looked like you ain't like her, it was a problem for me.
Ready to
Okay,
fight.
I just wanted y'all to understand how hard I rode for this chick. Okay, and I thought that she rode for me the exact same way. So we were friends all through middle school. We were friends all through high school. I was there with her for the birth of all of her children. She was there for the birth of all of my children. Even though one passed away, she was right there by my side when my daughter passed away. Like she was there. This was my people. You understand?
Wow.
And we hit our mid 20s, and I found out that I was in a relationship and it was horrible. It was toxic. It was that thing, but I had my blinders on because I was in love with this man. This man couldn't say nothing or do. I knew right from wrong, but I was in love with this man. And her being my friend, I actually met him through her. What ended up happening was she was like, "Girl, you don't need him. You can do better than that. He don't deserve you." And I was like, "You know what, friend? You right. You right, friend. You right." We went on a girls trip to try to cheer me up, right? We in New Orleans, we doing our thing, literally girls trip. We doing our thing. All of a sudden, she tells me that there's a guy that moved in with her brother. They didn't have any place to stay. They were, from out of town. They were going to let them stay with them till they got on their feet. She was like, he has no kids, girl. He'd be perfect for you. You need to get with him. He is, oh my God, girl. He do this, he do that, he do all the things. And I was like, okay, this sounds way better than what I got, right? So me and said dude, started chit chatting it up. Got to the point where I realized I don't need old boy no more because I got something new. But again, keep in mind, y'all, I was young. I was in my 20s, right? My early 20s. So I don't really know much. So I'm just going by what I thought. Long story short, me and the dude decided that we were going to be together. I done gave him a blueprint to Shaka. He knew all the ins and outs, the no's, the don'ts, the do's, all the things. And I found out from her husband that they slept together. When you mad at your man, you talk to who? Your best friend about it. When you mad at your best friend, you talk to who? Your man about it. Who you talk to when they just slept together? Who? Okay, it gets better. I felt like, okay, we're friends. We've been friends. I'm not going to let a dude come between our friendship, right? Even though I had feelings for this dude, I'm not going to let it happen. We decided that we were still going to be friends, right? We didn't talk. We used to talk 12 times a day. We ended up talking maybe 6. It kind of decreased. Not a big deal.
Mhm.
Long story
Mhm.
short, she went through my phone about 6 months after the incident to find his number because I still had it. I was still in contact with him. She called him and told him that she wanted to be with him. I was the scum of the earth. I was all the whole, the this, the that. She knows she out here. She's all these things. And oh, by the way, I'm also pregnant from you. So I should be the better choice. I'm the one that you need. Listen, she lied. She was not pregnant. After her third child, she had her tubes tied. Okay. She was trying to do anything to like him. I mean, to get him to stay with her and to be with her. But now that I think about it, over the years of our friendship, people who I had never met, like let's say she started a new job, she makes friends with these people. All of a sudden, I meet them and they're like, "Oh, so you Shaka? I heard a lot about you."
Oh no.
Right.
Red flag.
Or our neighbors, who don't even know us, but we're all neighbors. We all live in the same apartment complex. We're all neighbors. We good. Her neighbor pulled me to the side one day and she was like, listen, that girl is not your friend. Older woman, she is not your friend. She talk about you like a dog. She is not your friend. You hear what I'm saying? But to me, I was like, what you said, Breezy, I'm making excuses. I had to learn when a person show you their true colors, believe them. Stop trying to repaint them. Stop trying to recolor these people. That's who she was. And it took a lot out of me to realize that this girl really wasn't my friend. And when I tell you it broke my heart, it broke my heart because I'm not going to lie. That particular friendship at the time I missed, right? I missed it. But as you grow, as you get older, as you realize everything happens for a reason, maybe my season in her life or vice versa, her season in mine, it had been, run its course. Maybe I was at that point where I was at that level where I no longer needed her to, get me to wherever I needed to be and to move on. But I didn't delete her off my social media because I want you to see all the things that I'm doing. I want you to see all the people that I'm with. I want you to see everything. Okay, I want you to see me, see you, see me.
No. See, she would have to look over the wall from somebody else's side because you gotta go. That's crazy. That is
She could see
crazy.
me. She could see me. I could care less because I don't. I've gone through the healing. I've healed from that, right? I've learned the lesson that I needed to learn. If I see this girl in the street, would I speak? Absolutely. Hey, how you doing? But that's all I got for you. I can be very cordial. But understand that friendship is done. It'll never be. I'm not going to hold on to that because it takes so much. And I was angry for a long time. When I tell you I was angry for a long time. And when I finally healed and let that go, I was so much lighter mentally, spiritually, emotionally, just all the things. And it was just like, it hurt. But then I realized what to look for. I've now learned these lessons and I feel like, I needed that. I needed to go through that to get to be where I am today. And now that I have a 23-year-old and she started to experience, now you see the signs, kind of like Dr. Mia's sister was showing her. So you know what to say, hey, that ain't your friend. Hey, girl, she just don't like you.
Absolutely.
Tag, I sip to that. She just
I sip to
that. That's horrible though. So she had slept with him while you were dealing with him, not like years prior.
Oh, so she knew. Breezy, understand, she was my friend. I tell my best friend everything. Girl, this is what we did the other night. Girl, this is what we going. Girl, this because that's my dog. That's
like,
my
I want to see. I want some.
No, she right. I really, and I would have respected that. That I would have respected. But no, you want to go behind him. I know.
Not for you.
I know.
They do say that some things. I think I have I agree with you. In your 20s, you don't realize that there are things about your relationship you just don't share. But my mama ain't tell me that.
Right.
We weren't having these conversations like, girl, don't tell them how long it is. And don't
tell them how good it is.
I will say this. Mama told me not to, but again, we get to that age where we know everything, right? That's my friend. She not gonna do me how your dirty little friends did you, Mom. She different. She not.
It's not the same. It's nothing like that.
Right. It's different, Mom. We don't do that. I don't do that. Apparently, she did.
These men are going crazy in comments. So let me hop over so we can address some of them. So Mike says that women will step. Come on, Nidra, get it together, girl. Women will step on their sister to get the man they want, even if they know he is wrong for her.
Chris Rock, I don't agree with most of the things that Chris Rock say, but Chris Rock, to me, said it best in one of his comedy specials. This man said, if you introduce as a guy, if you introduce your new woman to your friend, your homeboy, when you walk away with your woman, your homeboy gonna say, wow, I gotta find me a woman like that. When you introduce as a woman, your man to your homegirl, when y'all walk away, she gonna be, I gotta get him.
That's horrible though. Like,
but that was my experience.
Imagine if you really thought like that about every friendship that you have. Can you imagine how miserable you have to
it,
be to
it,
be.
it affected me. It affected me. I didn't have no new friends. I didn't trust not no woman. I look at you funny.
Understandably so.
I wouldn't even introduce my guy to some of my friends just because. What she mean by that look? Why she said it like that? What is going on? Why she dressing like I was questioning everything. I had to truly heal from that before I could even move forward with my day to day. It
Wow.
truly affected me.
Understandably so.
I mean,
That was a lot.
I think this is always the hard truth when I work with people or clients, and even bad relationships or just relationships, period. And I think the hardest part is the reflection, and it's kind of like, what was it about me that needed you so bad?
Yes.
As that friend.
Yes.
What was it about you that needed you so bad? And it's so crazy. I can't even watch regular movies because I was watching Guardians of the Galaxy, and what's her name, Esmeralda, was mad at the other guy, and she was like, "Why do you need me to be somebody else for you?" And she was mad at him. And I was like, dang, that was deep, because she had lost her memory, and so all he could remember is who she was and how they were in love and everything. And she was so frustrated with him because she was like, "Why you need me to be somebody for you? Why you need me so bad to be somebody for you?" So it has to be, it's hard to be reflective in those moments, but trying to find out, what was it about me that needed you to be you for me in my life? And that's hard. That's hard too. I know I fell for, and I've had best friend. This is always the thing when people ask me, am I still best friends with my friend from kindergarten? Knew her forever, and I'm like, no, we're not friends anymore. To say that's not my best friend no more, like, it makes you sound like, oh, you just around here dropping people, like, how can you drop your best friend? But it's similar to those situations. Like, once that person hurt you, and it's important to let go once they have hurt you. The hardest part is holding on once they've hurt you. Then there's something within you that you got to address.
And I want to say this. When you said, what is it about you that I feel that I need, you know what I mean? So bad. For me, I think what it was being, I have siblings, but there literally is, I'm the only girl. It's all boys, right? I only have girl cousins. I don't know what it's like to have a sister. So I didn't understand when my girl cousins who have sisters, when they were having arguments and beefing with like their sister. I didn't get it because I don't have a sister. So I think for me, it was that sisterhood, that bond, that, lack thereof of my life for a girl my age going through what I'm going through, or somebody that can relate to me like I can relate to them, that I was lacking. So I thought at the time in my life. So that's why I clung to this person so heavily and so hard. And it's funny because in high school, it was 3 of us that hung out, the 3 of us, right? And we were all cool. And I just recently, like 2 days ago, spoke to the other young lady, and we still cool. Her and I'll call it D. Her and I, we good. We don't have no issues whatsoever. And it's funny because we were talking like, well, what was it about her that, I do need a hug. What was it about her that made me, matter of fact, I got you, Mike. What was it about her that made me feel like we had to be her friend? What was it about her where we kept her in the loop? Because if you think about your friend group when you're like, let's say at that clubbing age, or when you're forever hanging out, like everybody brought something to the clique, right? You had your hair person, you had your makeup person, you had your stylist, you had the driver, you had the one that always had the hook up somewhere or knew somebody to get in wherever. We had all those things. She didn't bring nothing to the table. So why the hell were we hanging out with her all the damn time? And then G was like, oh, because she was fun. Hell, we fun.
I don't know which one I was in the
She needed y'all more than y'all needed her.
I was right, literally, and we didn't realize that. And here we are at 44 and 45 years old, figuring this out now. I said, girl. But I will say, for me, in our friend group, I was the makeup person and I was the driver. So that's what I brought to the table. Because when I'm ready to go, all hoes hoes. The black Honda is leaving. I was straight go to the DJ booth, gathering all the hoes who rode in the black Honda. We out.
Wow. Yeah.
Your black Honda.
You remember that black Honda?
I was the driver, and my mom worked nights, and so I was the after. Like everybody went back to my house, and we was dragging our butts in at 5, 6 in the morning. So,
Yeah.
always sleeping
Can
over.
we tell? Can we correct Mike? Mike, that was me that was getting on you about the comedian references. That wasn't Shaka, so leave her alone.
I skip to that.
Hold on. Mike say, okay. Mike say, oh, so now a woman know what it means to bring something to the table.
I told you, Mike, I brought the table.
Nicole, do you have any experiences with, a girl, she just don't like you situation?
Yep.
Want to talk about it?
Most of the time for me, I was prejudged just from the look, and then just how I look if I'm not smiling or something like that. So I always had to kind of wait for people to kind of figure out who I was. And so I never fought to kind of fit. You either figured out that I wasn't what you thought I was, negatively, or not. But luckily I really haven't had to experience not necessarily like losing a best friend, but I do understand that people just outgrow each other, and I just learned not to take stuff personal. Like people just change and people kind of just go their way, but I don't change who I am. But in that, if in that process, if who I was down with, I'm really not down with anymore, I just take it as it's a beat. But I don't take it personal, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it was a big fight or we fought over somebody or whatever. I just never was like that. But I have been in the room. I've been in situations where I have had friends who all of a sudden don't do each other. And I'm like,
awkward.
Awkward. But I do know how to friend people from where they are and not blend, you know what I'm saying, in muddy waters. So I just kind of been kind of lucky like that. And I ain't changing. So
good. Don't.
Yeah.
Don't. Yeah, I think I was also a people pleaser, and that was part of it too. You know, like like Dr. Me, I wanted everybody to like me. Like, what do you mean? I was shocked. What do you mean people aren't going to like me? Like me? What do you mean? Now it's like they don't like you. 0 fucks.
Right. That's what
I'm getting there.
Good. What is it that they don't like so I can keep doing it? I don't care.
And I think I think I've become arrogant about it in my latter years and in my halfway point. I call it
as you should.
Because it's like that's your loss, honey. I'm a damn good friend. You know what I mean? And it's like
you have to get to that
loss. Because thinking about going back to the best friend conversation of how my friend that I went to kindergarten with, I mean, her dad used to drive us to Middle School Parkway. She used to drop us off, Trevor and Michael. I ain't gonna say her name.
What's her name, girl?
But the men don't care nothing about saying nobody's name. First and last. She does not care.
The lady in the barracks. She gave the lady in the barracks first and last name.
Does not care.
Right, she probably somewhere in Bucktown, North Carolina. This one probably still local. But it's so weird because we're not best friends anymore. And I think she still really don't know why we're not best friends. Like, I think she's completely oblivious to what she did. And I'm like, child, if I got to explain it to you, we definitely not on the same wave. Because what happened was I have been there from her from day one. Like, she used to call me in the middle of the night. My braid in the back fell out. Can you meet me at the gate? Like, I would be braiding, because I was the braider, the driver. Like, I was jack of all trades.
You brought a lot to the table.
Right.
Yeah, I brought a lot to the table. So go find him. He's right there. I brought a lot to the table. So they don't care nothing about my podcast.
At all. They don't. The disrespect. It's the disrespect
I am building an office. I'm redesigning my house just so I can have my office. I can lock the door. But right. So she don't even know what she did. Like if you asked her today why we're not best friends, she wouldn't have an answer for you. So this is I'm gonna do the short version. So basically she had gotten pregnant, and we were like sisters, right? We were just literally like sisters. And you were having sex without a condom. And so I told her, like, you're not using protection, like you're not worried about getting pregnant. Like it was just weird. I'm like, why? I mean, by now we're in our 20s. We're not 18, nothing, 19. Like we can't be doing stupid stuff. And so when she finally came up pregnant, she was like, no, I'm gonna have an abortion. And I'm like, what do you mean? I was like, that is so irresponsible of you. And her reason for wanting to have an abortion was because her daddy was gonna kick her out. I was like, girl, I know your daddy ain't kicking you out. Like you don't live that life. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, people that live that life and it's a struggle and everything is rough. And it's like, oh, you know, come live with me type. But girl, your daddy's not kicking you out. She's like, no. I was like, well, if you don't tell him, I'm gonna tell him. Because I was like, he was like a father to me. Yeah, I was real indignant about it, because that was like my niece or my nephew. Like that's how close we were.
Right.
Together. Like we would meet all of these milestones. So it was incomprehensible for me. And then what happened if you went and had an abortion and you died? Like it was all supposed to be a secret. Like you was doing all of this in secret because I wasn't coming with you. You know what I mean? So it was just really terrible. I mean, I wasn't gonna tell. I was just threatening to tell. But anyway, fast forward, she decided to keep the baby. I'm in the delivery room holding the other leg. You peeing on me, poop coming out, all that. Like we all in these trenches together. Like you decided. She started dating the guy, they move in together. I'm there helping you learn how to breastfeed the baby, everything. Like that's my son. Like we've been together this long. So we worked somewhere together. And there was this other girl that was like just baiting to be her friend. Like she was always trying to be in the fold and like, you know, just wanted to be her friend. Like, and so we were working.
Oh, we lost you.
We lost you, Mia. Ooh, she getting good too.
I'm mute.
You're on mute.
Oh, sorry. I was talking about y'all last here.
The coworker was trying to be her friend.
Right before the neck roll.
She was like, so we were at work one time and they were talking about the baby, and then I guess the christening was coming up, and the coworker that was desperately trying to be her friend was like, oh, you know, are you coming to the christening? And I was like, what christening? And then she was like, you know, I'm the baby's godmother.
Who baby? Who baby godmama?
Wait a minute. I'm saying, who
y'all heard that dead silence. Wait, what?
Right.
Who?
Wow.
Time out, flag on the play. Hold on.
Wow.
Who's the baby godmother? She was like,
who's the baby? First of all, who baby? Not my friend baby.
Right.
Not that baby.
The one that pooped and pee on me, like why the one that I taught how to hold the baby to.
Right, while she breastfeeding. Right.
That baby?
Wow.
No, not that.
Baby. The one you taught, who talked her into even having the baby. Right.
Nene.
Girl.
My heart dropped.
The disrespect.
Stomach.
Wow.
And I'm like, and so I walked over to her. I said, oh, so and-so told me that she's the baby godmother. She's like, yeah, she's the baby godmother. I walked away. I never talked to that bitch again.
Maybe she didn't realize.
Nicole, you coloring her. She already showed her true color. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Can I offer?
When I tell
Nicole is the one that's gonna try to find a silver lining in the heifer.
I have an excuse.
I want you to help me
don't be yourself right now
for this one, because
I have a rationale.
Like maybe she didn't get it, maybe she didn't know, but guess what?
It's not my job to get this out, girl.
I have a rationale.
It's not my job to make an excuse for her behavior, and it's not my job to allow you to ever hurt me like that again. And so
okay,
I was like,
but
I ain't never talked to her anymore.
Here's the thing. what if she felt like you're the baby's auntie? Like you're literally my sister, so you're the baby's aunt. You don't have to be the baby's godmom.
Christmas though.
I didn't know about the
absolutely should have already known about the
You didn't talk to me. You didn't say nothing. Like, first of all, I had to find out about the christening through the grapevine because you ain't from the coworker. So she probably was already holding something in her heart against me. You know what I mean? Like there's something there. And if we were best friends for all this time, and I should girl, and it was so many signs that I knew that because my sister told me again, she was like, you know, she needs you more than you need her. My sister told me that. Oh, wise one.
Listen.
Yes.
The sisters always know.
She was like, she
the
needs
sisters
you
know
more
the moms
than
know.
you need her. She is not your best friend. And I'm like, damn, girl, you sitting up there talking with Jesus. You know all this wisdom. But my sister told me. My sister told me that. But and even years after when I saw her and she called me and she was like, what happened to you? Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you don't know why we stopped talking. And I even explained it to her. She didn't get it.
She didn't see an issue with that situation.
I just think airplane. Like I don't think she realized. I feel like that, but then she planned the whole
Christmas. You didn't say I'm sorry. You didn't say anything. Like even I confessed it. I talked about it. Oh yeah, oh my God, I didn't know you felt that way. Oh, but bliss, children could share, whatever language you got to speak.
But you know what, Nia? A lot of times though, we will give out all the people, right? Because that's what we do.
Yeah.
But just because we give it like that, don't mean the people are taking it
absolutely not.
Like you give it, and so your heart was in it, but hers wasn't.
Nope.
Yes.
Right. Some people don't know how to do it. They don't know how to be friends, and
they don't.
I agree. I agree with Nicole on that. Yeah. I feel as if sometimes, just like Dr. Mia, you're looking for you and her. And it's just you. You understand? Like it, and I get that. Like I feel like you. I am that friend. I will go all out for my friends. Because I don't just call, since that lesson that I learned in my 20s, everybody don't get that title. You understand what I'm saying? So if I call you friend, then that's really what you are to me. But let's talk about for a second, not to change subject if it's okay. Let's talk about for a second those needy friends where they got to talk to you every day and they got to be on the phone with you every day and they got to send a text message and you try to tell your friend like, girl, it's just, wait, can I talk to you like on Thursday or something? And they get a whole attitude with you like you wrong because you don't want to sit up there and sit up on the phone. Like I got stuff to do. I got to prepare for a podcast. I work IT. Like I'm tired. I ain't got time to be sitting here on the phone. I got things to do. And you around here want to talk about, what color you think I should get my nails tomorrow? Because I don't know. And I mean, that's all fine and good, but I can't do that every day. Not in my 40s. I can't.
Yeah, I think being in our 40s, it's a little different. Because in my 20s and probably a big portion of my 30s, I had one friend who I literally talked to all day long, multiple times. And that was okay because I think our lives were set up different where we had more time to do that. Yeah. But now I don't even like being on the phone. Please text me because I have too much happening, too many moving parts. Please do not call me. Don't call me.
Yeah.
You know what? One other thing I wanted to say, I wonder how many of you are only children?
I'm not.
So
I'm the only girl.
I was the only child.
I'm the only girl.
Okay, so I was the only child until I was 28 or 29. Whenever my daddy decided, I don't know, he had an adolescent moment.
However, he had something else going on.
Yeah, but I grew up an only child, so I'm thinking about when I said how I friend people and really don't care if I'm alone or not, or I probably don't even see it, and it probably is because I'm an only child. I was the only child. So I didn't have friends anyway at home. I mean, so that might be why.
That might be.
Maybe.
I want to go to some of the comments. So Dr. Mike saying that you in that big ass flute glass, you taking 2 days to pour wine.
Why you worried about me pouring my wine?
Nicole, Mike likes your voice. Nicole, Mike likes your voice. He says that you need to read audiobooks because it's calm and relaxing.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
And she talks like that all the time. Even if she cussing you out, she do it so calm. It's scary as hell. She do it so calm. Oh, girl, poem. She poem. Look, it's big too, Shaka. I want one of those.
Girl, Z Gallery. Z Gallery.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Breezy, they say the comments read. Like when you read a person, how you just be so calm and smooth. All right, and then we have somebody that's trying to holler at the meal.
Ow.
Yeah.
Ow.
Right. All right, there's a question I started. I want to put it up now. It was asked by Straight Talk with Trevor. Do you ladies feel threatened by perceived competition, therefore playing it off as them not liking you?
Competition.
No competition within friendship. No competition within friendship. If anything, we're gonna push each other.
Problem, though. It could be a one-sided competition because you don't like you.
That's true.
With you don't realize it because you're just living your life and being your fabulous self.
Right.
I mean, so here's the thing with that friendship or that situation that I told you guys about. There was definitely a one-sided competition, but in those situations, is it really a competition? Like if I'm not competing back with you, you're literally just playing with yourself. There's no competition because I'm not trying to be you, and unfortunately, I can't even say what it really was. So we were all close in the chat line days. And, you meeting these people online that you've never seen, but y'all talk on the phone and you describe yourself. And, this is our time of when all this is happening, when it would be like, oh, well, she said this or that, or we would meet these guys and they're like, wait, I'm looking for this description. And that sounds more like you, but it's not. She's saying it's her. So you're describing yourself to people with my description.
That's you. Wow.
So when they show up, now they like me.
That's like catfish, right?
That is exactly what that is. That's exactly what that is.
But when we would tell her, stop doing that because you're beautiful. You don't have to, downplay your weight. You don't have to downplay your complexion. You don't have to do that. If they don't like big girls, guess what? They don't need to talk to you. Because I felt like even at 190 pounds at my age at the time, I felt like I was humongous. So I would tell them when we would talk on the phone, I'm fat, I'm this, I'm that. And they still like me. So why am I going to say I'm not something that I am? And then you come to meet me. And what ended up happening is people would walk straight past her because they're not looking for her. Because I don't know who you are. I know who I see, but that's not who you described yourself as. So I'm not here for you. And of course that seems hurtful, but in all fairness, if you tell me I'm coming to see a 6'2" Black goddess such as myself, and they're showing up to see a 5'4" person, it's different. That's not the same person. So
and they could have been attracted to her, but that's not who she described them as.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you have to let people like who they like. If they're not going to like you, that's okay. The person on the next line probably will. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it.
But I will say this. I feel like sometimes with that competition, it's their own insecurity, right? So instead of them just either owning that or just saying like, talk to you. If we friends, talk to me, right? Say that, I feel insecure. I don't like my weight. I don't like this. So if that's the case, if my friend came to me and she truly had an issue with her weight, girl, what you want to do? You want us to work out together? You want to go get some little a nip? Like, what you want to do, friend? I'm here for you. We gonna figure this thing out together. Like, whatever's gonna make you feel bad. I mean, I don't pass judgment on who do what. That's y'all. But I'm just saying, if you like it, I love it. And if that's my friend, I'm gonna support my friend. So I just feel like, why not just say, instead of describing, I'm, this 6, whatever, however tall you is, Breezy goddess, 2 goddess with these locks. You know what I'm saying? Why not just be yourself? But I think people don't know how to do that. So that's probably why they either latch on to said friends and then realize, because you don't like yourself, now maybe I don't like you because I want to be you, but instead I don't know how to say that or relay it, so I'm just gonna hate on you. Like I don't. Sometimes I don't understand the thought process of us. You know what I mean? Shut up, Mike. Even if you say something, I just don't get our thought process sometimes.
We were in our, I want to say we were 18, 19, maybe even 20, somewhere up in there. So, you still had a lot of learning to do and figuring things out. But I've never wanted to be anybody but me. And if I did, I'm not going to show you that, because that's like the certain weaknesses you don't tell strangers. So clearly you don't like you if you're going to tell me that you look different than what you are. Like it was just a whole lot. And we would talk to her. Like we had a circle of friends. We have had countless numbers of interventions. I mean, people don't like that word, but we've had sit downs where it was like, just trying to encourage her. And her favorite saying, I'm gonna say it, people gonna know who I'm talking about. Her favorite thing to say is, but I'm saying it's this and that. It was like, it was always an excuse for why she couldn't take our advice. Like, stop giving these men money the minute you meet them. Stop letting these men take you to the drive-in for your first date. Stop this kind of stuff. Like, don't do that.
Drive-in for the first date.
For date number one.
Oh, child.
I like the drive-in. What's wrong with the drive-in? Don't do that. No, you don't.
But people hide their brokenness. That's the problem.
Yes,
people hide their brokenness, and if you're not really paying attention, and I'm just thankful that I do have that. I don't try to do it, but I pay attention to the stuff that I like, background, like the smallest little thing I will remember. But people hide their brokenness, and that's where they show up. Like, but if you don't know that that's what they're doing, then you can't help them. So it's no fault of y'all. Like you said, y'all tried the interventions, but you may be the interventions may not be touching on what the brokenness is.
I know.
We never got through.
I found, I mean, in my interactions, I have found, like, after a couple of times of getting the same stories, is establishing a pattern, right, of behavior. And it has been very common. I see that when you don't have friendships, sisters, cousins, mothers, like as a woman, if you lack that relationship, it is very hard for you to know what that looks like. We go back to the conversation about modeling, because I have an amazing relationship with my mother and an amazing relationship with my sister. I mean, I didn't like her at first, but I always swore my sister was hating on me, but it wasn't that she was actually hating on me. She was being a big sister. And so I always say that I have enough love for the both of us. I used to say that because I know what it means to be supported and uplifted and celebrated, because my mama and my sister are always going to be on the sidelines. They are my biggest cheerleaders. So if you're not necessarily that for me at that moment, it's okay. I can, feel in, I have that. I don't need that from you. And I realized that, showing up like that, you show up from a full cup. You're not necessarily looking for other people to fill your cup. But then it also leaves you open for, victimization, like, emotional victimization. Like, people can take advantage of who you are, because there are natural givers and there are natural takers. And I know I'm a giver. And so I have to set my boundaries accordingly. And if somebody, for instance, I don't let people borrow money. I don't borrow. You can't borrow no money from me. That's just my thing. If I give it to you, it's a gift. And it's only a first time and never again. Like, I always tell people, like, if I give this to you, it's a gift. I don't expect it back. And it's your first and last time. That's just how I am. Like, because I think money just confuses thing and people act funny. I'm sitting up here, you owe me, and you up here in Aruba, like, can you run me my $400? How you in Aruba? Like, I'm like, all this thought process, like, I have too much emotional damage with money, and I know I don't like to be without, like my security, growing up poor. Like, no, I don't got no money for you. Now, if you got to pay bills or something, go to M. Scott.
Right.
Sorry, money, because I've seen so many people break up friendships and lose relationships over money. So we just don't do that.
Yeah.
But it's just about, are you showing up in a relationship half empty or full? Because you're looking for somebody to fill your cup. And I definitely, as now older, like,
That's what I was gonna ask. Do you think it's easier now for most people to show up with their own full cups in our ages now, more so than when we were in our 20s and 30s?
Absolutely.
It should be. It should be, but they don't.
Right. I mean, not everybody.
I agree. I don't think they do
either. Emotional maturity, emotional intelligence, that happens, once that person decides to go on that journey. You know that somebody in comparison with 20 years of lived experience, because I always tell people, when they have expectations of younger people, and I'm like, stop it. You went before this and you still trying to figure out, and these people have been here 20 something years on this earth, and you expect them to be like extend them some grace. So I think time definitely impacts who we become, and some people just never get it. Some people it's some people that have IEPs for life.
Yes.
There you go. I was gonna say that people just grow up, but they can be foolery at 3, foolery at 33, 83.
Right.
Unfortunately,
that's never gonna get right.
Yeah. It's that journey. When you take that journey, you are forced to look at self. And I think that I realized when that situation happened to me, my blinders are now off, and now I can see everybody. Now I'm able to set those boundaries for myself, because now I got my walls up, right? Now I'm in protective mode. And when you do take that journey and you look at yourself, now you can just, instead of always pointing the finger at, well, she went behind my back and she did this while I'm doing that, there's 3 more fingers pointing back at me while I'm doing this to you, right? So now that I stop and I look at the bigger picture, I look at everything as a whole, it's like, yeah, it's so easy to put the blame on other people, but look at yourself first, right? Like, sweep around your own front door before you go out and start, telling people what's on their porch.
I like this, something that you all put out. One thing I love about this panel is that, me being the teacher, I have to have like this little outline of things that I want to cover. But one thing I love about you ladies is that once I throw it out there, the conversation starts flowing. And one thing that I did put on here was the setting boundaries. So I love that Dr. Mia already touched on that, and then Shaka piggybacked off that. So let's just stay there for a minute and talk about those boundaries, because honestly, I feel like that's something at my big age that I am realizing that I should have done years ago in my friendships, boundaries, and now it's kind of coming back to like kick me in the butt, because I was that person that I want to please people. I'm a yes. I won't say I'm a yes girl, but I want to please people. And being married to who I'm married to, child, some stuff is changing, because he sat there for years and he sees how it affects me.
Yes.
I come to him and he sees how that affects me. And now I'm at a point where I'm feeling like I need to start setting better boundaries, but I'm like, but I've already been friends with these people for so long, and how do you start setting? It's easy at the beginning of friendship, but how do you start navigating and setting those boundaries of respect and things like that once you have already been in the relationship for a while, but things are kind of like
My favorite go-to for every time we get on this platform in any way, shape, or form, communication. Just like, I don't know I think it was Nicole or Breezy, I'm not sure who said it, but when you start telling people, listen, I'm not, let me talk to you for a second. This is not, you got to communicate those things, regardless of if it's an easy conversation to have or a hard conversation to have, because I'm a firm believer that if you're my friend, even though it may be a difficult conversation, it shouldn't be, because we are friends, right? And maybe I hold you to a high regard, but and Nene, you and I are friends, and some people even really truly believe that we're sisters. And in my heart of hearts, that is my sister. I don't care what nobody say, right? Because that's my people's. But at the end of the day, it shouldn't matter what the conversation is. If it's something that's affecting me that could possibly affect our friendship, we should have that conversation. But I will say it is hard, because just like I feel like, everybody's like, yeah, we friends. We can talk. Yeah, girl, you can tell me everything. You can't. Because when you do, now all of a sudden you the bad guy. Well, why you ain't been saying nothing? So now you don't like me. And you could have and it's like, it's not that deep. I'm just telling you, this is where I am now, because like you said, when you go on that journey, you start to look at self and you self-reflect and you realize, you know what? This no longer serves a purpose like it used to. So I don't need this part of me anymore. And if you're my friend, you're going to respect that. If not, then
there's so many layers to that, though, that I'm still also in my big age, Lenidra, still struggling with that whole boundary setting type of thing, because I think for me, the fear is, if it's not that big of a deal, what if I say something and it rubs them the wrong way and it creates an uncomfortable situation unnecessarily? And it's like, I'll just let it go. I'm not even going to say anything, just from that fear alone, that it could go left, or they may not perceive it the way I'm delivering it.
It is.
True. So, very true.
Yeah. It's tough, but I believe it is necessary.
But then, Bridget, Brizzy, can I ask you this? If that's the case, how do you? So you and I are real cool. We good friends, right? You're my good girlfriend, and you want to have a conversation with me about whatever, and I'm not open to it. I don't want to hear it. I'm offended that you even brought this up. Where do we go from there? Do we stay friends?
So has happened. We did stay friends for a while, but you know what? That could very well be where the divide came.
Gotcha.
You never know. And I think, well, I can only speak for me. When I approach a conversation, it's always with respect. It's always with love. And I try to preface my conversations like, listen, this might be hard for me to say, or, I love you. I'm only saying this because of whatever.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean they're still going to receive it the way I want you to receive it, and vice versa. It could be the same for me. You might come tell me, you know what? I don't like how you said this, or I don't like how you did that. The mature me might want to say, you know what? They're right. You need to, take what they're saying at face value. But there's parts in here that's like, no, because why they said it in the first place. And, I can admit that I'm quite emotional sometimes. I know Mike loves that word.
As a woman, you're emotional? No.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine?
Mind blown. Wow.
So I'd like to share something.
To keep it in check.
I'd like to share something when it comes to boundaries. That was it, right? How do we set boundaries?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I had to, for the last 2 or 3 years, I went through a change in my job, right? And in that, I had to have emergency surgery because I had these huge fibroids and I didn't know I had them. Then I had to go through some extenuating dental work. And then I had to make the decision to lose weight, right? On top of everything else, right? I had to set boundaries for myself. So I'm listening to everybody talk, and we're talking about setting the boundaries, but I still hear the setting the boundary for you to make the other person comfortable. But we got to make ourselves comfortable, right? So I do something, and I've been doing it now probably about 5 or 6 months. It's called Savers. And so I have this routine that I do every morning, but I had to set this boundary for me to be stronger outside, for me to be stronger with my daughter, for me to be stronger with my mama who moved in with me, for me to be stronger with that man that I'm married to for 20 I think it's 22 this year. And so, but I do this thing called savers, right? And it's an acronym. So every morning, and the sacrifice in setting the boundaries for myself is I get up an hour early every day for me, right? It doesn't mean that we got 25 hours in a day. It's still 24, right? But I get up and I do this every morning, right? So it's the acronym. So S is for silence. So I wake up and I'm just silent, right? A is for affirmation. I try to tell myself affirmations. If I can't say it, if I can't think it, then I go on my iPad or my phone and I find something, right? The V is I visualize what I want. Yeah, whatever it is, I just have this whole visualization and thing, right? But these are processes that we have to practice, but it's also a way for us to set boundaries for ourselves, right? Mm-hmm. The E is exercise. Those of you all who follow me on Facebook, Instagram, y'all know I exercise 5 to 6 times a week, right? And I post that, but that's a boundary I set for myself. That's to allow me to be stronger, right? And then the R is reading. So I read like either Bible or some type of literature that's going to better me. And then the S is scribe. I write myself a letter every morning and I literally say, Nicole or dear Nicole. And I tell myself how I'm going to be today and how I'm going to win today. But that is set. But for me, that's setting the boundaries for me so that I can set my boundaries on the outside. So I'm that's stronger awesome. For me, so I can be ready for what's outside. Mm-hmm. So just think about that piece. Like we got to set boundaries for ourselves so we can set the boundaries on the outside.
Oh, I love that.
I got to come up with an
I will sit right.
Yes, I will sit there.
Right. Y'all gonna have me falling over with all these sips.
Let's go.
That was really good. I wrote it down. I love that.
Okay, I was hoping somebody did. I was like, I need that.
Yeah, we got it.
I'll be using it in my practice.
I put it in the chat.
Yeah, that's really good.
I love that.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
So for me, I mean, boundaries is such a huge topic in therapy. Nevaeh, please use your inside voice. Boundaries is a huge topic within therapy because, like Nicole said, it is not for other people, it is for you. Mm-hmm. And so as Black women, we are taught that our feelings don't matter, our time don't matter, our needs don't matter. Literally from childhood, you are assigned roles and you can't say no, or you can't express your feelings, you being rude, you being disrespectful. Like there are so many layers to why we have a hard time with boundaries. And I always ask my clients to check in start with your mother, start with that relationship, start with the norms that were within your household. Like when you were sick, were you allowed to say you were sick? Did we acknowledge you were sick? Did you get to stay home from being sick? Or did they tell you, I ain't missing my job, you better get yourself together, we got to go? Like you start to become devalued, and you be put on the back burner, and you learn that at a very young age that your feelings, your needs
don't matter.
Not matter. And so think about your childhood of how it was communicated, because I had to be reflective with my children, because when I tell you the militant side of me, we went to school every day. We woke up at 5 a.m. We was out the door at 6 a.m. You sick? Your stomach hurt? Let me see. I don't see. You don't look like you sick. Let me go and take this Tylenol and you're going to keep it moving. That is the same adult that will now never miss a day of work and work till the day they die, because I didn't validate that child's experience of being sick and say, you know what, you should stay home. You know, so boundaries it's so deep and so broad.
Wow.
Nevaeh.
That's interesting. That's a a necessary thought process.
Yes,
That's
you
really
have to think about your boundaries. So I say at the bare minimum, if you're not really sure how to start, tier your friendships. Tier your friendships. Everybody should have access to you, first and foremost. I always tell people I hate cell phones because I don't want you to know where I'm at, what I'm doing, when I'm doing it. No, I don't want to talk to you right now. You know, like I think cell phones like completely invaded our privacy. It did not allow you the opportunity to speak to the person when you want to speak to them. And now if you don't answer the phone, they text you. And then if you text you, like, why you not answering the phone? Like cell phones have completely killed our
I'll answer.
If you don't know, just tier your friendship. Have your level 3 friends, your level 2 friends, and your level 1 friends. And you know, you have your level 1 friends that have access to you direct. Like my best friend in California, like we are there. Like if she called me right now, she said, I need you. I'm on the plane on California. Because I mean, when I tell you, she has been a pillar in my life. And so and I have my level 3 friends, like people that I'm just associates with. I'm very cordial. If they invite me to something, I'll go. Like we're friends, you know what I mean? But you don't have that much access to me. Like I'm not available to you at all times. So just start with trying to, you know, when I do this in a therapeutic environment, and when you don't know how to do it because of all of your past trauma, is to start tiering your friends.
I like that.
Yeah.
Trevor says in the comments, he says that Black people are always bogged down with rules, even as kids. Like we tell little kids to go against their very nature when they go in the toy stores, and that's true. We're taking them in the toy store and say, "Don't ask for nothing." Well, yeah, that's what.
Don't ask for nothing.
Don't look at nothing. Don't ask for nothing because you ain't getting nothing. But come on, let's go into it.
And I look back at Leah and I say, Leah, don't. She says, I know, don't ask for nothing, don't look at nothing, don't touch nothing. I'm like, oh, what am I doing to my baby?
And you see how easy it is, how we start programming them so young. And the reason why I tell parents to protect their childhood experiences because the brain is still developing. So the imprints and the things that they learn in those time frames are embedded into the growth. So it's not something, that's why it's so hard to rewire, because it was acquired during the development. And so it got its little nook, it's got its parking spot, and it's parked. So making sure we do not, you know, we think about our childhood and just try to do it different, just deviate from the norm. Because, you know, I tell people the only rules I follow are the rules that keep me safe. Because rules are a group of people come together and they convince enough people that this is the way that we should do it. And so therefore we pass it as a rule. I'll always be like, who is they? Who is they?
Like this 5-day work week. Why we doing this 5-day work week? Like I'm sorry.
Right. Who is they?
Because
right. I will follow the seatbelt rule because the seatbelt rule keeps me safe. You know,
same lives, right? Same lives, right?
I will follow the don't run the red light rule. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna follow the rule like don't get up while the preacher's preaching. I got to pee. I gotta go pee. I don't care, mother, that you looking at me standing because I'm standing up and going to the back in the middle of the service. I gotta go pee. You teaching them kids that your pee don't matter.
Here's a good question from them. He says, how many of us that our parents swore that we would never do? Like, what are some things that we said we would never do? Shaka, what's one of yours?
I swore, and I stuck to it though. I swore that if my daughter was eating food for dinner and she wanted something to drink, I was gonna let her drink. I was not gonna make that baby choke until she ate a whole plate of food before she could have a sip of her drink. And to this day, that girl can drink when she eats.
I never understood that as a child. My mother didn't do that.
You get full. You'll get right. I sip to that too, because you'll get full.
You get full.
Because you get full. That's why. And you want to eat your food and not just drink your juice or your soda or whatever your parent is giving you.
I had friends whose parents did that. So I'm at my friend's house eating dinner and I'm ready to drink. I'm like, why we don't have anything to drink? Oh, we're not allowed to drink while we're eating. Like, I need something to help me get this down my throat. Are there anything any other things that you said you wouldn't do that your parents did, or that you wouldn't say that your parents said that you wouldn't do or say? Anybody
I'm not
else?
one of your little I'm not one of your little friends.
Have you said that to
But
her?
yes, and we friends on all the social medias. But yep, I said that to her. I'm not one of your little friends, but literally I am, because I'm on your social medias. So I'm one of your little friends.
Anybody else?
I think I've repeated all of my mom's sayings. I think she put some sort of juju on me, because I feel like I shouldn't be repeating them yet, but they come out so easily. It's not time for this yet, but
Bridget, I don't know your mama. Bridget, I don't know your mama, but you're not gonna blame your mama for that. It's in you.
Oh, no,
don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
It's 100. Because you know why I know it's her? Because as soon as I say it, I said, "Oh my God, I sound just like Helen." Every time. But I mean, it was effective. I can't. Why change what works? It's okay.
I think I said because my mom always used to say, because in Creole it's like something about like, you're not the boss of me, like, you know, you're not my mom, you're not my dad, like just basically putting you in a child's place. And I've had to catch myself, because my last child, boy, he swear he run this house, and I be like, you are not the boss of me. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna go, how this is gonna go down. Like just that authoritative tone of, you dare not question my authority, because he's the one that's gonna be nuck if you buck. That one is going to try me. He is going to buck that. He's gonna be like, well, mommy, you said don't do that, and I'm like,
I sure did.
I sure did. But right now, I need you to do it.
I have one. The thing that I swore that I truly swore that I would not do. If any of you who know my mother know that she's very loud and she yells, and she's not really yelling, she's just loud. And I remember I would say, when I have a child, I'm not going to yell at her the way that you yell at me all the time for everything, right? And I remember one day, Alani had to be about maybe 6 or 7 years old, and I worked the whole day. This is when I was a medical assistant. I was tired. I worked in a pediatric office, so it's all babies screaming and crying all day. There was traffic coming home. I worked in downtown Fort Lauderdale. At the time, I was living in Pompano, like a street away from Deerfield Beach. So it was a nice little drive there. And I get home and I got to cook dinner, and I forgot to take the meat out, and I'm pissed off, mad. And I'm trying to thaw it out and do all these things. And the dog had peed on the floor because it took me forever to get home. And Alana said, "Mommy, can I have a cookie?" And I was like, "No, you have a cookie." And I'm just going in. And when I finally finished yelling at her, she looked at me straight in my eyes. She didn't cry, nothing like that. She looked at me. She said, "Mom, it's just a cookie." And I broke down, because you know what? It was just a damn cookie that this girl wanted. And I didn't took it out on my 7-year-old because it was traffic.
You put the whole day on her.
If Miriam wasn't coming out of me, apples don't make oranges, y'all. You hear me? Apples do not make oranges. I am my mother's child.
Yeah, Trevor, that's one right there. That you got McDonald's money. I hated that. I said to Leah, but the problem is, she says, but Leah said, "Yes, I do. I can use my money." Like,
exactly why. That's why I can't use that one, because my kids. Yes.
I'll sip to that.
My daughter's like, you know what's so funny? My daughter cash apped me the other day to get her McDonald's. So I can't say, "Do you have McDonald's money?" Because yes, they do. Yes.
Before you even ask, you gonna cash app it to you.
Right.
That's funny.
Yep.
That's funny.
No, I wanted to I wanted to talk about I think Shaka mentioned seasons, right?
Yeah.
And I think what we don't realize as it relates to, and this is a hard thing for people to say, and it's important to realize to let go of things that no longer serve you.
Yes.
And it sounds very selfish, you know, and it's seen, and then like I said, it's not how we were reared to you know, say like, you know what, this relationship has sunset, and it's okay to walk away because we learned to be ride or dies, right? But understanding, and this is that the season, if the planet got to change 4 times a year, 4 times. winter, summer, spring, and fall. The audacity of humankind, human nature, to believe that your life is going to stay the same. You're going to go through some seasons. You're going to go through some changes, like major changes, like winter to fall, like major changes. And so I think we have lost the concept of us constantly evolving and understanding that we are in constant motion of change. And just being able to just let things go. We are taught to just hold on to it. That's that, that hoarder mentality. Like, we got to just hold on to everything. And we don't. The season's over.
We do not.
Okay, wait. I can't wait anymore.
Very right. Very true. I mean, I will say this about, I feel like once you do that journey, once you do that self-check, once you go through and you realize who you are and what you may need, to better yourself, all those little things that you held on to, that friendship for whatever reason or whatever, once you do that self-check, and you go through that season, you realize I'm good on you. Like, I'm good. And like you said, it does. Initially, you said, oh, it sounds selfish. No, it doesn't. But then when I think about it, it doesn't sound very selfish, but that's okay. Like, my grandmother used to say, you was born in this world alone, you're going to die alone. So, like, I can't take you with me. If the five of us are best friends, do we realize that when we get called home to whatever it is that, your belief is after we die or leave this earth, we all never going to attend each other's funeral together. You understand what I'm saying? It's going to be 4 of us going to see one. It's going to be 3 of us that then bury 2. We're never all going to be, together. So you live your life. You cherish those things that mean a great deal to you. You love on who love on you. And if they don't, I ain't got time to be trying to figure out why you don't like me. I don't even care no more. I used to. I don't even care no more. It's, well, why you don't like me? What's wrong? What did I do? How can we fix this? No, I don't care no more. I don't care. You don't like me? Okay, cool. Bye. Selfish. When it comes to shock, I'm gonna be real selfish. Extremely. Because I've been too giving to everybody else. I'm gonna be real selfish.
Rub some of that off. Thank you.
You got it? All right. And then I will say this too about sisterhood. Because I am the only girl biologically from my mother and I have all these brothers, I will say I have picked, a couple women that I do consider my sister. And that one right there is one of them. Like, even though I didn't get it, and I wanted a little sister so bad, and I have cousins who, are like are like sisters to me, is not the same. But when I say I have a little sister, I have a little sister. When I say I have, women who are older than me, who've guided me, who've shown me things, I have sisters. But not to change the topic, but I kind of want to bring up, I know how we're talking about, girl, she just don't like you. What about in the workplace? Like, have you ever, so here's my quick little situation. I was at work and we were in this conference and it was all, at the time, the job that I was doing, it was a lot of women in that field, in the medical field. So it's all these, female nurses and things like that. And I walk in and I'm a little intimidated by, the amount of women in this room. And I only see a handful of us, right? Just a handful. So I initially gravitate towards us because I figure we can relate to one another. You get where I'm coming from. You understand the struggle. And I felt like the majority of the Black women in that room either shun me, turn their nose up at me, not just me, just the other Blacks around them, and rather gravitate toward women of other races. Like, and I will say this, one of the women that she's biracial, she said, isn't it funny how us Black women are like crabs in a bucket? How do y'all feel about that? Are we?
I mean,
that hasn't been my experience.
Yeah, and I do believe that hurt people. And I don't necessarily take it personal now in my older age when somebody doesn't click with me or we just don't vibe, because everybody is not your cup of tea. And just because we're in the same work environment, we're all nurses, like the only thing that we have in common is the surface, right? That yes, we all are nurses and yes, we all may be Black, but your personality, like we just don't click, and that's okay. I think we make the assumption is that everybody's our cup of tea because of that people pleasing, right? That thing that rests within us, looking for somebody to say be accepting. But I think in the workplace for me, it has been more so just as a woman being in the workplace, working with men, your opinion not doesn't matter, or you'll say something and then he'll come right behind you and say the exact same thing, and everybody acting like he done talked about the second coming of God. Like I just so before I didn't used to say before I wouldn't say I just said that, but now I'm like I just said that, you know what I mean? Right. So like that has been my experience, that with men, when I'm in a work setting and I say something brilliant, and then they come around and they change the last letter of the word and repeat what I said. And now all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, yeah. And in the past, I was just here like, what the freak just happened? Now I'll be like, I just said that. That is exactly what I just said. You changed the two words. Like I'm not sitting in the back seat anymore. Those experiences. But I think with women, I don't know. I hear you, Shaka. I felt like I experienced that in my 20s. Like
this was in my 20s when I was younger, when I walked into that room and these people, but very similar to you, I work in a very male driven, dominant field. I work in IT. And as you know, I mean, and I still work kind of in the medical field. So it's funny because a lot of the times when we get like clients and they're male clients and they get me, they're like, oh, okay. And then they're like, is there somebody else that can help me? And I know basically what they're asking for, which is fine. I don't take it personal. I send them on to, the man that they want to talk to. And then it's like when the man is, I told you that. That's exactly what I said. Like, don't play with me. Don't play with me. Now I don't necessarily pass the buck. I'm going to stand on what I said. And if you don't like it, you're more than welcome to hang up and figure it out yourself. I know how to work the computer. I got this.
You call
That's
me.
You that need help. Right. I didn't call you. I know what the hell I'm doing, sir. But good luck with you. Good luck with that.
Right. I mean, I think the thing that irks me, and I've had this conversation with some women that I've had as clients, and when they tell me that they don't have any female friends, because all of the women, are jealous of me, or women are just jealous, or women are catty, and they have all of these descriptions and reasons why they have no female friends. And I said, I can understand you having a small group of friends, but I challenged them and I said, what does it say about you that you're the very species that you are, that you can adapt with, you don't have any connection with, and there are barriers to the relationship forming aspect of your own species. So you have to be reflective that it has to be something within you that keeps you away from your own genetic makeup. Are you really battling with your own internal conflict, and therefore you don't see yourself in other people? And so you have to think about that, because I'm like, I don't buy the everybody jealous of me and that's why I don't have no female friends. Girl, bye. Girl, bye. Like, it's never that serious.
Right.
So you really have to think about, like, what is it about you? Because there's one friend, two friends, but you old 40-something years old and you don't have no female friends. Everybody's against you.
And I will say this too. I feel like as women, sometimes and I think we kind of touched on this earlier in the conversation, like hold each other accountable. Like for this grown woman to say that she don't have any female friends, like somebody, whether it was her mom, her sisters, a family member, a coworker, whoever, somebody need to tell her to look at self. Because clearly it's something, like I said, you pointing, saying, I don't have, because they did this and they did this, but you got these three pointing back at you. This person did this person did that. But what are you doing? Like they have to take that journey. They have to go on that self, whatever, to reflection, to look at themselves. Like, wait a minute, why don't I have any female friends? Like, what's going on with that? I'm not saying you need a million female friends, but you don't have not one?
Not one.
No sister, mother, auntie, cousin, nothing?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Nobody?
You got nobody?
Nobody down like 4 flats?
and if she told me that as a coworker or as a stranger on the street, I'd be like, girl, what's wrong with you? Something wrong. You might need to look into that. I know a doctor you can go see. Her name is Dr. Mia, and she can, cash. She won't cash though. Cash patient.
So women, if you have no female friends, if you have no female friends, you need to holler at Dr. Mia so we can figure out what is wrong with you.
Come into the fold. And so when I've changed, we want to make sure we're sensitive, and we have to say, what happened? What happened to you, Dad? What happened to you?
Oh, you right, Dr. Mia. Like when we talk to Mike, we be like, who hurt you?
Right. You have to say, what happened?
Don't get Mike started.
When we say that, because the what leads to the defensive and bars goes up, because everybody has a story. So if you ask, so what happened to you? Like when they say, I don't have no female friends, ask them, so what happened to you? And they'll tell you.
I don't really ask what happened. I'm a great observer. So I'm going to pay attention to what you're saying and how you move and stuff. And really that's going to answer why you don't have female friends. Because I see you're messy, you're petty, you like starting stuff with people. And it's usually a reason. Something usually shows itself when you pay attention. It's like, oh, that's why.
Yeah, I would definitely be curious. I mean,
I'm not asking.
It makes my skin. I mean, and it goes the same thing with relationships, as when you're trying to join and a woman that's like, I can't keep a man, or I don't have, I don't know what's wrong with me. And, and it's the same thing. You have to be self-reflective. People do not want to take accountability for their actions. They don't. You want to blame everybody else, but that
everybody else.
Yeah, they don't. It's so easy to blame somebody else.
Okay.
For all your problems.
The time is now. Grow up.
Right. All of your problems. Nothing is you. Nothing.
Right.
All right. Well, we don't have anything else in the chat. Everybody thought that this was an amazing conversation, and I have to agree with them. Right? Like, but this was a great conversation. Thank you, ladies, so much for hopping on with us tonight. Nicole, she had to take another call, but I left her up in case she was able to hop back in. We did a really good hour and a half, and it was a very good conversation. Like I said, before we hopped on, we got like 5 more topics that we have to pick dates for. So if you are here, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification because you do not want to miss these conversations. All right, we have some really good ones coming up. So before we check out, anybody want to leave any closing words? Go ahead. I can raise my hand like she's go ahead.
Church man.
I will always say communication is key. Say what you mean and mean what you say. But I will also say to this particular conversation, I'd rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies any day when it comes to female friends. Okay? And I'll sit to that. Mm-hmm.
I like that. 4 quarters over 100 pennies.
True.
Mommy, I know who do this.
You know what I'll say?
Hello.
I'll say every loss isn't a loss.
Facts.
Some deductions make room for other additions. A whole lot of math that we don't need this time of night, but every loss is not a loss. It's okay to let some people go, and it's no bad feelings on either side. Just stay over there.
Period.
I'm just gonna repeat what I said earlier. Is that the planet changes seasons 4 times. 4 times in a year, every year.
Yep.
And so the audacity of humankind to believe that your life should stay the same. So who you started with might not be who you end with. Mm-hmm. This is a journey. It's a journey that's going to take you so many places. And so everybody can't come. And some people will be there and some people will not. So be open to the change. Be open to the possibility that life is going to bring you changes. It's not the end of the world. You will find your community. and your community might be changing on a regular basis, and it's okay. We have to normalize being okay with change.
Agreed.
I like that.
Yes.
So before we leave, everybody grab your glasses or whatever you're sipping on. And wait, Shaka has poured in that big old flute like 4 times.
Yeah, we got a little bit left. We might be able to get a little bit more into just a little. Yeah, I done went through a bottle. It's only 4 glasses. This 4 glasses equal a bottle. That's it. Don't judge me.
Okay.
Don't judge me. Don't ask how I know that. Don't ask me.
No judgment here.
Exactly, none. I got my bottle next to me too. Let's go ahead, ladies, and cheers to another wonderful episode of Pour Your Heart Out.
Good job, ladies.
Yes.
Right.
I will sip to that.
Sip to that. Yes, ma'am.
I sure will. I'll sip
We
again.
take it to the head, so since we over like this.
Oh, I
still
can't.
have to
Yeah.
Ooh, get
I can't do that with that Tito's. I can't do it.
Woo! All right, me. That's the
God.
doctor right now.
I'm gonna sleep good tonight. I'll
Yeah,
see Shaka
right.
I like your flute.
I'm finna be outside. I feel too good. I look too cute. I'm finna be
Wait,
outside.
you about to go be grown?
You about to go be
ma'am.
grown?
Yes, ma'am.
That's why
Yes,
she
Where you
ma'am.
going? I want to go. I don't have
Yes,
anything. I
ma'am.
got kids to watch.
Oh, we gotta plan something.
Yes.
Yes, we got to plan something.
That would be
Yes.
fun.
Let's do that.
Yeah, we have to have a Pour Your Heart Out outing. Yeah, let's handle that in the group chat, y'all.
I'm here for it.
Man.
All right, ladies. Thank you so much.
See y'all next
Bye.
time.
Have a good night. Happy Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Day.
All right. And that is it for another episode of Pour Your Heart Out, Black Women's Honest Conversations. I want to thank you all so much for joining us for tonight's episode. Please make sure that you like the channel, that you are subscribed to the channel, and that you share it out, because you do not want to miss what we have coming up in the month of June. We have some really good things planned. And of course, we'll have more of our all-star panelists. You know, there are about 12 of us, but you never know who you're going to get on the episode. So just don't miss it. All right. And with that, I am going to sign out, and I look forward to seeing you on our next episode. Until then, remember, your voice matters. What you feel is important, and continue to pour your heart out. All right. Good night and cheers. And that's a wrap for another episode of Pour Your Heart Out, Black Women's Honest Conversation.